All right, Scott, let's go through Cam Ward, man. I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot of film. We're going to try to plug through 22 minutes as best we can. We'll go as long as we can as time allows. So, talk to me about what you like about him, and then we'll just roll through the tape as we talk through him and try to highlight things as we see them.
Yeah. I think he has. I wish like my first line is like I wish he was a bit taller, but his overall size is good for the position. I think he's stout, he's strong. I think he's a good athlete. I think he's got above average twitch, speed, and body control. I think his pocket presence it's like good, but what we would call like a high variance 3 or a high variance average, meaning like I saw it as when he's in the pocket, he's like great at finding escape routes when it's not compressed, like when the edges aren't really stressed, like what we're seeing here. Like he pops through the middle, he's got a lot of space to maneuver. When he gets in trouble is when like there's the edges get kind of pushed, squeezed on him, and he like has to bring his eyes down and like find like figure it out on his own kind of thing. Like so he gets a little bit hung up there, but like I think his feel in the pocket is good. Like, a big thing with Shedeur was like he drifted backwards or drifted to his left a lot, like just to do it. There's a little bit of that with Cam, but like I think he's got a better like awareness and like clock in his head of when to get moving. So like that's what you like to see. I think his throwing ability overall is good. His arm strength's good. He can really push the ball downfield relatively easy with good accuracy. I don't think he loses a lot on the ball when he's throwing on the move, which like is a huge knock for me on Shedeur. I think he kind of loses it all. So like that's good to see with Cam that like he has a lot of zip still, even when he's off platform, kind of moving around in space, he can still deliver a strike. I think that like they like to push a lot of like their offense that like I saw it was quicker stuff with screens, or it was like off play action, or it was just deeper shots. I think like I think he's still good at he's not bad at reading defense, reading through his progressions, I should say. I wish there was a little bit more of it. I think that there's times when like this is a great deep ball down the middle, like kind of puts it right in the hole there, confidently on time, on target. I think that like there's times that I wish he would like kind of see the next option come available. So like I think he can still get better at reading his progressions, but he does it, which is a good thing to see. You don't always get that from these college quarterbacks. I think he anticipates really well. I think you'll see a lot of stuff with like his throws over the middle or like off play action. He knows how to lead his guys open with what I saw, which was a big thing. For NFL quarterbacks, I think some of it is like the design of the play, but I think like he throws into tight windows so confidently. Like that's a hell of a throw right there. He throws into man.
That's a great ball.
He throws into tight windows so confidently because he has a good arm and he knows like where his guy's gonna be. So like you really like to see how confident he is and like just not afraid to let it rip. I think his decision making is good. Like I said, he delivers in tight windows really well. One thing I did see was like, which they had a few games this year of like major comebacks, which is just outrageous that they're able to pull off as many as they did. But like Virginia Tech and Cal, he got in trouble trying to do too much, which you can say that about probably any quarterback, and a young quarterback in particular. But like, I think that's kind of like the area that he needs to clean up the most. For me was like just not forcing things because like the team's down, 10 points or whatever, like, and they were able to pull off almost all of these comebacks, which was amazing to watch. But there's just times when he made like bad decisions trying to make too much happen. And like, I think something that young quarterbacks got to get good at is like knowing just when to either eat a play or just throw the ball away. And, I think he's shown some of that and shown the ability to kind of just get rid of the ball. But like, there's times when he'll have a guy bearing down on him and he like just chucks it up instead of throwing it away, or he'll take a hit when he doesn't need to. So, like he's stuff that can get cleaned up with NFL level coaching for sure. One of the things that makes him stand out and gives him a bump up in overall grade for me is like the ability to extend plays, like we're seeing here. He, like I
This
said, he
is
has.
pretty silly.
Yeah, this is an outrageous throw. Um, he has the awareness, like I said, in the pocket to kind of feel when he needs to get on the move, and he has good body strength, body control, and strength to like get away from a little bit of contact that like Shador definitely doesn't have. So I like how I don't think he's like a. I think he's like he can carry the ball well enough, like if he's a design run or if he's out in space scrambling, but like I don't think he's like twitchy enough of an athlete to be a true like difference maker running the ball. However, he's good enough to be like something that needs to be accounted for, and like
Yeah.
he can extend the play. He can make things happen with his feet, which you like to see. I
He's
think he's a good
switchier than
athlete. He's not a
Shador.
leader. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Like
he's
for
definitely
sure.
where you say Shador is a this is a good look at a perfect ball placement interception.
Yeah.
I think Shador is an average athlete, probably underrated, but I think an average athlete's comfortable to say. Whereas, like you said, I agree with you that Ward is. I think he's probably in the Mahomes tier of athleticism, where he can get out and make plays with his feet, run around. Maybe not,
That's fair.
the arm isn't the athletic part of it. It's not the same, but I do feel like he is a plus in the run game when they need him to be. You're not running read option concepts with him. You're not running zone pulls and stuff. But if you wanted to, if you find teams who are dishonest and you want to sneak some of that stuff in, he's fast enough to get out and create. But I think you nailed it when you talked about he is pretty adept at finding escape routes inside the pocket to create downfield. To create those unfound yards, right? I think that's something that he's comfortable with. And, at the same time, as we watch through more and more examples of this, like there's a pretty clear player here who can work. And I think he does a nice job of coming off the front side and finding the dig on some of these throws. Like these are quality throws, man. And he's putting a lot of these on tape early on in what we're watching.
Yeah, no, it's a lot to get excited about with what he has put on tape. Like, I mean, yeah, this very off-platform, weird arm angle, but still has a lot of zip on it. I think that, like, wrapping up my report, like, I think that he needs to work on being a little bit more in control and not putting the ball in. I mean, that's a great hole shot from the opposite hash. Like, I think there's a lot of what stood out to me too, like, which prove that his arm is above average, maybe even better in some parts, is like he had a bunch of like opposite hash outs or like corners that were on time, on target, that I didn't flow. I mean, this is what, like 40 yards down, on an angle
Yeah.
downfield, like in stride.
Scott, that's
That
a seed, brother.
yeah,
That is ripped.
that's excellent. Like that is like a NFL throw that is hard to defend. He put it right in the hole of the coverage, and like you can't stop that. I don't care how fast you are as a safety, you're not getting over the top of that. So, I think there's some stuff that he needs to like clean up and be a little bit more careful with the ball, but he has like the tools, he has what it's like his competitiveness to be like a capable starter in the league, like kind of what we talked about before. Like, I think he's a guy that you win with, that he's going to get the job done and like keep and like have you right where you need to be, plus a couple tools, a couple weapons. But like, he's going to be a guy that can win a lot of games in the NFL with the right system, with the right team. So like the grade, I put a 54 probability on it. So like a capable starter with an above average probability of reaching that grade. So I like this dude.
I think you're right on with that. I would certainly put him in the first round. I would view him as a starter. I'd view him as capable. And I think there's a world in which he thrives. I do think there's enough tools there to feel like he can at some point thrive. Like you said, it's a matter of, I think, product of what's around him a little bit will help. And I think that obviously him mastering some of the NFL concept stuff will be interesting too. But the tools jump, man. The tools really do jump. This is a again, a ball that you got to really layer in. It's not really on a line, but it's kind of given enough trajectory to get up to that outside shoulder. And he's a low arm angle guy. He's definitely a 3/4 delivery player, but is comfortable living in that world. And I think the thing comes out of his hand pretty quick.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look like prototypical what you want from an arm delivery, but he can sling it. I mean, but like what you said, another Mahomes like comparison. I mean, his college tape was like ugly in terms of arm angle and delivery, but I mean, he still has a freaking cannon on it. So it kind of, he saved himself from looking like an idiot. But like you said, 3/4 angle. Like, I mean, they get a lot of pop behind it.
It's a sudden delivery. I mean, that thing shoots out of there pretty quick. Like it's there and pulled back and out. I mean, these are moving, man. These are moving. A little Yankee concept. I mean, this is a good layered throw with a defender in trail position. You can't put this football flat into this box, because if you put it flat into this box, it's got a chance of being undercut, right? So you need to put it on this upfield, kind of lead him on that upfield, because you recognize man free here, and this is a good example. Another really good throw, man. Yeah, really effortless delivery too. Yeah,
I like that too. Like he recognized the best option quickly, like right when he hit his back foot there and delivered an on time ball. Like, I mean, undefendable ball.
Yeah. And this is some of the stuff that you just got to get better at. If you're reading the left side, eyes are going left side, and we know we got to dig and a swing. We got to get this out, right? I understand they're kind of shading under it, right? It looks to me like a little boundary base cover 6. So you're getting that half coverage on this side. You're getting quarters to the field. So you got to know what your options are. If we're working to the dig and we can't find the dig because of the will backer, let's just get it out here and let a guy make a one-on-one play. There's some of this chasing plays that he's got to clean up. But again, when you're really gifted, and he's really gifted, you're going to think you can make some of these all the time, right? And we talked about this with Shador. I just think that with Cam, there's a level of athleticism that makes you feel a little bit more confident in these sort of endeavors. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Yeah. It's just, you have a feeling that come off it and kind of make something happen in space. And it's always obviously better to have the physical ability to make it happen instead of just getting tackled. So,
yeah, this is a good look at mesh from a tight bunch, a little flat motion. This is a very popular. You see this all across the NFL right now. So you're getting sort of double rail routes out of number 2 there in motion. You're getting the mesh on the inside. This is well covered. I mean, extremely well covered. Both backers kind of running with it, taking their guys. They're dropping underneath those rails. Nothing's open, but this is an example of like, oh, play's dead. This is a sack, right? They heat them up. It gets a little sim pressure. They do end up bringing a 5th guy on this play. I think you get an inside twist. So this is funky, but this is NFL stuff, Scott. So, right, you're going to get a long game up front. You're going to get a big looper. You're going to get an extra guy. One's coming untouched because you're getting the back out. Backs on an inside pressure. So nobody, right now, Cal game, there's some, like you said, we'll talk about the negatives at the end a little bit, but there's a lot to still like. I mean, this front side, man, like this reading front side. Hey, we're reading, it looks like they're running a little corner. They're running a variation of flood, right? Because you're going to get the back out on a swing. Do we think we can throw this? We got high, intermediate, and then a corner over top, right? Do we feel like we can throw that? If you don't feel like you can throw it, then come back to your backside dig. And this is as good as it gets, brother. Like, this is the stuff you want to see. Can he work the eyes front side? Does he like the leverage of the flood side, right? He's reading it out. Doesn't like it. He sees outside leverage on the corner, right? We got here, and then we got an outside leverage player on 2 outbreaking routes. Well, I'm going to get rid of this side. This side's eliminated for me. I don't even like to throw the swing because it's such a narrow opportunity. And then it's reset. And you can see this is a good look at the low arm angle, right? So he's not a high puller, but it doesn't mean just because you're a low arm angle guy does not mean you're leading the league in batted passes. You got to find windows to throw it. And some guys can do it and some guys can't. And I don't notice an inordinate amount of batted balls for him. So I think it's really, I think you would agree with me about how quick you can get defenders who are watching. Can you get away from that, right? If you're coming back middle, are you getting it out quick, right? This is great. That's a really great rep.
I like too how his feet like never got unset, even though he came back to his left, hop back to his left. Like his feet were still in pretty good shape, and had a good platform to deliver a strike right up the hash there. Like, so that's another plus. Coming off of the side that's covered, coming back to an open dig, but also like having good mechanics with it.
Look, this is a tough play. Okay. You're reading basically speed out with a takeoff. And what you're reading off of this, because you're getting the backside guard pull. So this is really what I call run action, Scott. It's not play action because you're getting run action up here, right? You're getting everybody selling run except for the receivers. Reading this corner is tricky because the leverage is at this moment of delivery. Like this is high level stuff to me because you're getting a heated up. Like most quarterbacks, when heated up, are going to think, hey man, they're going to keep a cap on the vertical. I'm just going to take this. And then this corner kind of squatting on it is going to blow this up. It's going to be nasty. Xavier Stripper, nice player, is going to get hurt. But this is like at the moment of leverage read is not the cleanest read for the quarter. It takes a lot of anticipation to put that over the top of the corner like that. I understand but this is like on film. I know what their tell is. I know what they like to do when they bring a field pressure. And what I mean by field pressure is a pressure from the wide side of the field. This is a field pressure. Anything on this side would be a boundary pressure. This is what they like to do, coverage behind that. And this is a high level read and throw, Scott. This is really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Got to put that thing on a line. You got to get it out quick, and you got to get it away from that safety. You can't lead them inside. So really, really like that play. All right, back into a little sprint out design. I don't know if this is a design sprint out, but it has elements that make you think it is. Sort of resetting, and that's pretty good, man. Maybe a bit underthrown, but it's right where it needs to be.
Yep.
Coming off this kind of working to the deep post, you're going across the field, so we're throwing it into the end zone. A 60-yard throw.
Yeah,
So
so
I think
60 yards.
Yep. Yeah, little low arm angle there. You can see that. That's where you want it to be. You need a wide receiver to go up and get that. I don't want to cradle that thing, man. Anytime you're in the end zone with capped underneath and over top, you got to be the one to find the football, right? You can't let the football find you. So we're reading left side here. Let's see where we're going. So we're going to the 2-man left side. We look like we have just a little curl with a vertical inside. We don't like that. Get backside pressure before we can come off. So let me see here. So it looks like we're maybe reading right side. Interesting. I'm not sure if he's looking right first or if that's just a decoy to come back left, but he does a good job of getting out away from that that pressure there and getting rid of it. I think that's probably why we put this one in here. It's just an
It's to get away, and he has the awareness to get his hand on the ground to stay upright enough to extend the play. Gets away from one guy, stays up.
Had the sleeve taken off.
Right. And then realizes he needs to come back and eventually get rid of the ball. Like he doesn't just take the sack or throw it in the middle of the field or whatever just because he wants to get rid of it. Like, he knows like, okay, I just got to chuck this thing into the second row. That's just good. That's the body control that I'm talking about, like to stay upright there and then the twitch to like reset himself enough to get the ball out.
Yep, and this is again another popular mesh variation. So I just want to draw this up because Browns run mesh a lot. So we're running. People call that a banana route, whatever you want to call it. It's got different lines and different playbooks. But you're going on that side. That's a good cover 2 beater if you want to find it. You got your mesh routes inside, and then you're going to get settle behind it. Chip Kelly really made this one popular in his Oregon days. And then a couple rail routes. So if you find one-on-one coverage, you can find your back if you want to take advantage right there. But you obviously have your mesh. And then if you get zone where they're passing all of this stuff off, which they do, you usually have a pretty good hole. But the thing that's interesting here is this variation. Whoops, I should get rid of that line at the top of the screen. This variation of coverage is particularly interesting because it's an inverted cover 2 variation, which is, again, Scott, this is an NFL coverage. You see this a lot. So we're going to get cover 2 from the slot. We're going to get a drop safety playing middle, and then we're going to get our second deep coverage player down into the boundary is going to be the outside corner. And then we're kind of working underneath it, right? Passing these off. But the safety creeping to the middle is interesting because you have to be able to process that if you want to throw. If you've eliminated your mesh because right, you don't want to throw into this linebacker and you don't want to get him decapitated. So against zone, that's your best option here. And this is third down, right? Third down here. We got to get past the sticks. They got this bracketed, pretty good coverage call in general from these guys at Cal here. So everything's bracketed up, but we have one answer, in my opinion, because this is not, you tell me if you think I'm wrong, Scott. This isn't getting a first down. This is a chance if we're putting it on this shoulder to maybe get a first down.
Yeah.
Is it the right spot? I like it. And to put this football away from that safety in the hole is really, really good stuff. You'll get a good look at it right here.
Yep.
So this is a good job from the receiver to cut it off, but also to like, hey man, I'm going to put this thing into a very tight window away from that